So have I got a treat for you today? What started out as a janky combo deck turned into an unstoppable combo deck that won me game after game after game. You can't miss this one today. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today I'm playing my new favourite deck in Standard that literally no one else plays. Firstly, I want to thank everyone for their support with this channel, and if you can take a moment to like and subscribe as we close in on 1,000 subscribers, I'd really appreciate it. Also, you won't miss out on my future decks, where we try to find new ways to use the Brothers War cards. But onto this deck, and although it is mono blue, you won't find a Haughty Djinn anywhere in sight. We have two main win cons here that use practically the same cards, so it's really strong, but one particular card basically wins the game outright with either combos. I'll come onto that shortly. Firstly, what turned out as our main win condition, Teferi Temporal Pilgrim. Now this card I'm sure you all know is very strong, as it's a 5-cost planeswalker that benefits from drawing cards. For 0, it draws a card, -2 creates a 2/2 spirit that gets counters each time you draw a card, and for -12, which is very possible here, says target opponent chooses a permanent they control and returns it to their hand and then shuffles the rest into their library. So we're going to be drawing a lot of cards here, so once the spirit is on the battlefield, they're basically going to have to choose between dealing with that or our Teferi, but both are going to get out of hand pretty quickly. The other win condition here is our Triskaidekaphile janky combo. Now, this was my original intention for the deck, and if you stay tuned, you'll see how easy it is to pull off a win here with this. But essentially, it's a 1/3 wizard that gives you no maximum hand size, but at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. Trust me, you absolutely must kill this creature if you see it hanging around, because it is pretty easy to win with it. So how to get 13 cards to win the game, or win outright with a Teferi, is the tricky part. We're going to be using a new card called Flow of Knowledge. I can't believe I haven't seen this card played more, but it's a 5-cost instant that lets you draw a card for each island you control, then discard 2. So you can easily draw 7 or 8 cards in your opponent's end step, and as you can see, the value it's going to give our Teferi or its spirit is going to take the game away from our opponents, and as an instant can totally take your opponent by surprise. It's also how we get 13 cards in our upkeep for the Triskaidekaphile. The rest of the deck is control, loads of card draw and some tempo, but I will highlight a few MVPs though. Number 1, Academy Lawmaster. Well, this is a 2/3 wizard that allows any player to draw an extra card in their draw step, and if you do, spells you cast this turn cost 2 more. Now, most of our spells are instants, so this is pretty powerful for us here. The other card I want to mention is Witness Protection. It's been around for a while, but it's an enchantment that for one says enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a green and white citizen creature with base power 1/1. It's so good against the plethora of amazing creatures we face each game, and won me a game basically on its own earlier, shutting down our opponent's deck. Apart from these, we have Silver Scrutiny and the Celestus for some card draw, Urza's Rebuff, Syncopate and Negate for interaction, and Fading Hope and Shore Up for some tempo plays. We have 25 lands, and that's my deck. Like I said, I went into today wanting a Triskaidekaphile janky combo deck, and it did so well that I switched tack, went into the Mythic rank and won all my games there. So hang around to see the games, and I hope you enjoy a Haughty Djinn-less blue combo deck. Alright, on the draw here, and hand looks okay. It's fine. We'll see what the opponent does. They play a swamp. Okay, so if they come out of the traps all guns blazing, we might be in a little bit of trouble here. So they hit another swamp. Oh, and they just pass the turn. Okay, well that's good for us, because we can sit there and do the whole do-nothing game. No Haughty Djinns in this deck. Opponent might be thinking that we are one of those type of decks. Oh, they miss a land drop. Okay, I mean, that's got to be good. Guess we play our Triskaidekaphile right now, as we do have a Shore Up available. Yeah, we'll just cast that. And pass the turn. So now we've kind of let the cat out of the bag, shown the opponent what we're going to be doing. They're going to try and combo off the Triskaidekaphile, and they're going to cut it down anyway. I mean, they've just used 2 removal spells on one of our creatures, so that's fine with me. And we'll just pass the turn. They hit a Bankbuster. Alright, so that looks like they've missed lands again. So we just need to try and do something about this game, and maybe we'll switch attack and get a bit aggro here. So you'll play our Teferi, we'll minus it, make a 2/2, and you know the opponent's already wasted 2 spells, or not wasted, but spent 2 spells on our removal spells on our Triskaidekaphile. See if they've got a third in their hand. If they're missing a land drop though, they probably are inclined to want to Bankbuster, which they do. See what they want to follow up with. Oh, it's just discard. Alright, so... Okay, this might be an easier game for us. I mean, if they do have removal in their hands, it's going to be a little bit annoying. Going to make another 2-2 now, just as we draw our flow of knowledge there, so we're going to be able to do maximum damage next turn. Opponent does find a swamp, and Infernal Grasp are 3-3. Okay, well, we'll syncopate that. We could do with that just sitting around and staying on the battlefield. And I still think we're in a decent shape. So we've got 5 damage on board. We've got 6 islands. So each one of, when we cast our Flow of Knowledge, that's going to be at least +6/+6 on each of our creatures. Plus Teferi is going to draw, and we draw for our turn. So yeah, this is just going to be a massive, massive attack we've got going on here. Haven't quite done the math. We even draw another island. So our creatures are going to get +7/+7 just from the Flow of Knowledge. I can't believe I haven't seen anyone else using this Flow of Knowledge card. Because it's pretty insane in this situation. And yeah, we're going to win the game there. Alright, on the play. Very nice hand. Triskaidekaphile, Celestus, and Teferi is excellent, but we do have the Flow of Knowledge, which is going to hopefully try and find us a way to win with either of our win conditions in our hand. We find another Teferi. Okay. Well, opponent with a plains, we'll just play out our Triskaidekaphile here. Fingers crossed it survives, but if it doesn't, fair enough. And it's a Spirited Companion for our opponent. Okay, we draw a Fading Hope, so yeah, all these cards are coming to us here. And look, we're not going to win the game necessarily by attacking, so I'm just going to hold back here and try and preserve our life total a little bit more. Opponent finds a 3rd swamp and Banalish Sleeper. Okay, well that was kicked, so each player is going to have to sacrifice a creature here. I'm going to use the Fading Hope on our own Triskaidekaphile. And lands are interesting. We do need lands to play our spells, and most of our spells in our hand cost 5, so I'm fine with a land on top. And we'll just dump that down. So we do have 2 Teferis, so I'm quite happy with just playing one of them and immediately making a 2-2. Showing a bit of aggression here. So next turn, even if we play Flow of Knowledge, that's going to be at least 4 counters on our 2-2 and 4 loyalty counters on Teferi. So we'll see what they want to do first. Okay, they go to attack our Planeswalker. Just going to block. We're not going to win the game straight away, and they haven't cast a spell yet, so... It's a Transmogrant's Crown. Okay, they may have wanted to cast that first. And a Thalia. Well, Thalia is going to be annoying in itself. It's going to slow us down slightly. Make another 2-2 with our Teferi. We do have another one in our hand, so I'm not too concerned about the Planeswalker. And we'll Witness Protection the Thalia here. So Witness Protection for 1 mana only. Enchants a creature, and a creature loses all abilities and becomes a 1/1 citizen token. Base power 1/1. But at the end of the day, Thalia is now not taxing our spells, so... I think Witness Protection at this very moment, with the abundance of amazing creatures out there, is just such a good card in a blue deck. Especially as blue can't necessarily remove cards, remove creatures. Yeah, I mean, what's this Thalia doing right now? They've had to use it as sacrifice fodder for their Rite of Oblivion. And yeah, absolutely fine with that. We have another Teferi in our hand. But we will drop our Academy Loremaster instead. So Academy Loremaster will allow each player to draw an extra card in their upkeep. If they do, their spells are taxed by 2 for that whole turn. Now, most of our spells are instances, or just instant, so shouldn't affect us too much. Clearly, we do have 2 non-instants in our hand in this particular moment. But we're still on 20 life. We're building up a board. Trying to find some more land drops would be nice. And yeah, we've got both win conditions in our hand. In fact, we've got an entire sort of combo in our hand. Flow of Knowledge, if you've got 7 or 8 mana, is phenomenal. Opponent with an Inspiring Overseer. That is fine by me. So not necessarily sure what they're exactly up to. Just a Orzhov sort of mid-range deck here. With some, I guess it's a Transmorgant Crown combo with the Rite of Oblivion. So we draw a Negate and an Island, and that's fine by me. That's why the Lawemaster's in this deck, and we'll just attack here as we can't block their creatures, and we can get some damage through. Knock the opponent down to 12. Pretty comfortable with my life total at the moment. Just going to pass the turn. See what they want to do. Celestus triggers. I mean, Flow of Knowledge is an excellent card to draw there. I would like both, but I really need all the other cards in my hand. Negate's going to be important if the opponent has any kind of removal for either our Triskaidekaphile or our token here. So, as much as I would love to have kept the Flow of Knowledge, I'm going to have to just not be quite so greedy here. As they're going to hit us for 6, we go down to 11. And it is a Missionary. Sure. So opponent's got a little bit of life gain here. And a Morbid Opportunist. Okay. So I think our number one goal here is to stay in the game. We'll cast our Flow of Knowledge here, and as you can see, we've just drawn 5 cards. We'll drop a couple of islands, and our token here becomes an 11/11. If we'd had a Teferi on the battlefield, that would have put 5 more loyalty counters on it. Celestus triggers, get another counter on our token, and then we draw for our turn. So pretty nice at the moment. Just going to discard the Shore Up. I feel like if we can get this Triskaidekaphile onto the battlefield, with our Silver Scrutiny and the amount of cards we're drawing, we might be able to pull off a sneaky little cheeky win. So we'll play the Triskaidekaphile here, and we'll see if we can win with this card. So this deck originally started out as a Triskaidekaphile and Flow of Knowledge combo deck, but I realised quite quickly that Teferi was also putting in a lot of work, so yeah, it works in multiple different facets here. And it really is nice winning with cards like Triskaidekaphile, so I'm pretty glad I put it in this deck. But we'll see how we get on this one as we attack our opponent with a 13/13 Vigilant token. And they just block with their 2/3, fair enough. Quite hard for us to get the damage through as our token just hit it going across the ground, so I think the Triskaidekaphile win is what we're going to look for. Hardest part is being able to draw 13. We're going to need to find another Flow of Knowledge. I think that's going to be the way we get forward here. We have 6 islands, so anytime we draw the Flow of Knowledge, we're going to be gaining 6 cards. We will have to discard a couple, but that shouldn't be a problem. I reckon the opponent's a little bit stuck of what to do. They can't seem to get the damage through, and I'm really glad we Witness Protectioned their Thalia earlier. The Witness Protection we just played a minute ago on their Overseer, we could have put it on the Opportunist to stop them drawing cards, but I think if we're going to die, we're going to die in the air, so I'm kind of okay with what we did there. And opponent has another Rite of Oblivion in their hands, and it's another Missionary. Alright, more life gain. And they put a Missionary back in their hand, I think. So, yeah, so let's go for the Triskaidekaphile win here. So we get to Silver Scrutiny here. We're just going to try and max out the amount of cards we've got. A couple of islands isn't bad. Want to hit my land drops. And a Lawemaster, okay. Going to decline this time, as I really want to drop Teferi. More card draw. And we'll play out the Lawemaster. And we'll just leave ourselves a little bit exposed here. But we're going to try and find a way to win. Made a 2/2, because I can see they've got a Rite of Oblivions in their hand, so presumably they're going to want to kill this 16/16, and we'll find a way to hopefully boost this other creature up to that value. They have to block. If we could have found a way to give our token flying or unblockable, yeah, that would be pretty nice. Maybe that's something to think about going forward. There's the blue enchantment that if your creature attacks alone, it becomes unblockable. Maybe that's something to think about. But we've got enough for the opponent to think about in our deck at the moment, in our battlefield. Yeah, and if anything, Teferi here has just become a sort of a bit of a decoy here for the Overseer to attack into. But we have another Teferi in our hand. I'm pretty okay with that. And it's Combat Thresher. Alright, alright. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So they're drawing a lot of cards as well. They've probably got, well, they've definitely got more cards in their hand than we have. They're highlighting their cards. I'm presumably they're looking for something to sacrifice for their Rite of Oblivion here that they've got in their hand. Yep. And they absolutely, as predicted, take out the 16/16. And we find a Fading Hope. I mean, Fading Hope's always nice. So Lawmaster's going to trigger both of them here. And we're going to draw some cards, I think. Or we're going to draw at least one. We find another island, which is pretty nice. And we'll decline. We'll get down to Fairy. This time we'll up to Fairy. At least to protect it from the Overseer. Draw some more cards. There's Witness Protection. Okay. Alright, so Witness Protection is going to be able to deal with their Flyer. Or the Opportunist. I mean, if they wanted to, they could draw 2 more cards. Recommission, alright, to bring a creature back to the graveyard. Another Overseer. So I do like the opponent's deck. There's loads of value here, but they're not really attacking us. I mean, I can't believe we're still on 10 life, to be honest. Guess they can attack down our Teferi, but it's going to survive. It's just going to be on 1. All we need is a card draw spell to boost the loyalty on Teferi. Guess we'll just use the Fading Hope here. Save our Teferi. There's a land. We definitely don't need that right now. So we're digging for a card draw, and then I think this game should be over if we can find one. So Flow of Knowledge at the moment would draw us 9 cards with the island in our hand. We'd have to discard 2, so we'd be up 7. Okay, they're just going to cast their Rite of Oblivion on our Teferi. A little bit annoying there, but it is what it is. And they equip their Overseer and pass the turn. Okay, another Triskaidekaphile, sure. So this is why earlier on when we got rid of a Flow of Knowledge, I wish I kind of kept it in my hand, but we have just drawn another Flow of Knowledge. So this could be the turn that we try and find a way to win the game. So we'll go through our turn, we'll attack with the 8/8. Basically it has Vigilance, so I guess it's giving the opponent an opportunity to block and draw a card. But yeah, if they hadn't have blocked, we could have just cast our Flow of Knowledge then, which would have won us the game. So it's a good job they did block for them. That was a lethal attack. And we'll drop our island here, and yeah, just pass our turn. And we'll do some math in their end step to see how we can try and find a way to win here. Okay, opponent declines our invitation to draw 2 cards, and it's Aaron. Alright, so they can sacrifice some creatures and inspire an Overseer. Okay. So my hope is that they leave my Triskaidekaphile alone. We do have Negate though. We've been holding that all game in readiness for a removal spell. Spirited Companion, drawing another card. Resolves, and yeah, I think we should be okay here. So when we cast this, we're going to need to try and find a card draw spell. And we have to discard 2. And we have 11 cards in our hand. And we did find a Silver Scrutiny, which is nice. We could have always drawn through the Triskaidekaphile there. Just doing some math here to make sure that I do this right. And yeah, Silver Scrutiny for 3. Should put 2 more cards in our hand. Well, puts 3 more cards in our hand, and then we have to ditch the Silver Scrutiny. And yeah, that's 13 cards here. I think opponent knows they're dead. And Triskaidekaphile triggers, and they do die in our upkeep. Alright, on the draw here, not the best hand I've ever seen, but we'll keep it anyway. It's nice to have islands to cast our spells, so I'm not going to complain too much. Looks like they're... Alright, they're mono green, okay. And we just draw another island. Okay, so at least we have a witness protection if they want to throw down a decent creature here. Another green mana, and it's at Paxong Pup. And we'll play an island and just pass our turn. Nothing really for us to do. I'm not really that bothered about the pup. Okay, when it scoops it up, they think we're a Haughty Djinn deck. Alright, on the play here. I mean, this hand's okay, it's got potential. We have our Flow of Knowledge and our Teferi, and that's always pretty good. Opponent with a tap mana. Okay, so it was Rafine's Tower, so S per deck. It's nice to see how we get on against a deck like this. As they play a Plains and say go, and we'll just pass our turn. We have Urza's Rebuff here. Nice counter spell. And an Inspiring Overseer. I was going to counter it. I mean, I wouldn't normally counter a spell like this, but we have so much counter in our hands that we might as well. We'll just pass our turn here. And they... another Overseer. So if we find a land, I'm going to want to play Teferi next turn. So I'm just going to syncopate this. I mean, it's not their best card, but keeping these things off the battlefield is nice. Okay, and there's a land, so yeah, we'll just drop Teferi. And I think I'm just going to draw a card. We're in no rush. Opponent hasn't got anything on the board. So Teferi on 5 loyalty, and our Urza's Rebuff is going to put at least 6 more loyalty on it next turn if we wanted. So as you can see, it's so easy to get its ultimate, and to be honest, if when we draw a card for the turn, it's going to be on 12. Opponent with their own Teferi, which slightly changes things, so I'm going to make a 2/2 now, and we find a Fading Hope, which is super good. I really like where we are. We have 6 mana, and we have so many ways to draw cards. Well, we have so many cards to draw. So opponent is going to presumably attack Teferi with this 3/3. That they do. And yeah, we'll just Fading Hope the 3/3 before we... Well, we're just Fading Hope the 3/3. So they've got something. I would presume they've got something. Okay, Devious Cover Up. That's fine by me. I mean, that's taken up a lot of their turn. We haven't actually declared blockers yet, so this is going to be a little bit annoying for them because we're going to cast our Flow of Knowledge. And now our little token gets 6 +1/+1 counters put on it. Yeah, we're just going to block their 3/3. I'm absolutely sure they didn't see that coming. Teferi on 10 loyalty. Sorry, Teferi, yeah, 10 loyalty. Looks like 16 from where I'm sitting, but it's definitely just 10. They make another 2/2. And we have another Fading Hope in our hand. Okay, so this has been pretty nice. We'll just drop an island here. And yeah, we're just Fading Hope there 2/2. Okay, opponent's seen enough. Not surprised. I'm going to take this deck to the Mythic rank and see how we get on there, I think. Alright, opening game here on the ladder. I've been playing in the play queue because I was trying to... Well, I thought this was more of a janky deck at first, but I seem to be doing pretty well. So let's see how we get on the ladder. As our opening hand isn't perfect, but we'll see. It's opponent with Xander's Lounge. So I haven't played on the ladder for a while as I've been doing a lot of combo decks. as we find another island. And opponent on Grixis, it looks like. So, alright, third path Iconoclast. So that's a card we're going to want to deal with, and this is why I think Witness Protection is so good at the moment. So many cards do so much more than just attack. And yeah, we've just basically shut down probably their entire deck, really. I'm sure their deck revolves around Iconoclast. Yeah, they're going to have other things in their deck, but I'm sure they've got loads of instants and sorceries that they would love to have leveraged there. And they don't follow up with a spell. So one of the things about playing these mono blue decks is they may think we are a Haughty Djinn deck and are playing around those kind of spells, but we really haven't got as many counter spells as the Haughty Djinn deck has. Another Iconoclast. That's interesting. I mean, it's a card we don't like, but I think we're going to have to save our Syncopate for something a little bit better. Opponent gets in with a 1/1. Now they could have a counter spell here, but I'm just going to play the Scrutiny. People don't normally counter the draw spell, they counter the spells that we draw from it. So we'll let that go. And we find a rebuff and a Syncopate. Well, we'll get down the Lawmaster here, definitely. This will allow us to start drawing more cards in our upkeep. And opponent gets to choose whether they want to do that as well. Didn't see much of it in my earlier games, but our opponent here has chosen to actually do that. So they've drawn an extra card, and they've got 6 mana, and that's a Fable for 5 mana. And yeah, I mean, that is an absolute negate target. They did get a 1/1 out of it, but they don't really have an attack here. I do love this Lawmaster. We get to draw an additional card if we want to, but right now I want to cast my Teferi. Just going to make a 2/2. I feel like if the opponent had some removal, they may have removed our Lawmaster. So we'll see what they want to do. Okay, they're thinking whether to draw another card. I guess the Lawmaster could be in their interest. It's one of those cards that I think it's just a really good Magic card. I think giving your opponent an option to do something, but penalising them for doing that is excellent. And for us, most of our cards are instant, so it's not really a penalty for us to draw an extra card. So opponent's in the tank a little bit, thinking what to do. We have left ourselves a little bit open with just the 1 open mana. Opponent may feel that we have a spell that we can cast though, as there's lots of 1 blue mana spells. They're just going to throw everything here at Teferi. Well, we have a couple of easy blocks, and Teferi down to 1 loyalty. And it's Corpse Appraiser, okay. Corpse Appraiser is a decent card, gets them to put a card into their hand. Maybe they were just looking for a creature to get into the graveyard there for them to do that. Yeah, Grixis tokens, I can see Saheeli's in their graveyard, and there's a Kaito. Nothing we can do about that. And they get to draw, and not discard as they've already attacked. And they play a Mountain. Okay, so we find an Otawara. See what we can do this turn. We'll definitely draw an extra card, as we haven't got a lot going on for which isn't an instant. And yeah, our token's already a 5/5. There's Triskaidekaphile. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get Triskaidekaphile to win in the Mythic rank. I'd love to be able to do that, but we can attack with a 5/5 and opponent down to 14, and we'll just pass our turn. So if I was to make any changes to the deck and wanted to make it a little bit more competitive, yeah, I'd probably lose that Triskaidekaphile, and would look at trying to win just with Teferi and card draw. But I like to have a bit of fun, and I think that's why I love playing Arena so much. I don't want to keep playing the same decks constantly, so I've never actually, apart from earlier in this video, I've never actually got Triskaidekaphile to win through Triskaidekaphile, and the new card Flow of Knowledge definitely enables that. But anyway, onto this game, and opponent is drawing and discarding through Kaito, so it doesn't look like they're going to attack. And another Fable. I mean, yeah, it's probably their best card. So, I mean, what else are we going to do here? We're going to definitely negate this. An opponent scoops it up. Okay, I'm not sure if what they had left there, but I'll take those victories. Alright, on the draw. I can't complain with this hand too much. It's pretty nice. We have a cheap creature and Fading Hope, which I kind of like. Opponent with a Reinforced Ronin. Alright. I mean, mono red is going to be a pretty hard matchup surely for our deck. We'll play an island here and say go. We drew another Witness Protection. That would be really nice if their creature was still on the battlefield, but unfortunately with the Reinforced Ronin, it just keeps going back to their hand. So we do have a Fading Hope, but I don't see the point of that. We'll just pass the turn. And yeah, I think this is going to be a difficult game to win if they just want to keep attacking there. There's a Syncopate. Alright, well, we'll just pass the turn. Could have played the Triskaidekaphile there. Would have given the opponent a target for some removal if they wanted. They've just channeled and to draw a card. They might think we're just a Haughty Djinn deck. I will play the Triskaidekaphile though. I have a Fading Hope if I need it. And I'm absolutely positive that is not what they expected to see. There comes a Fable. Yeah, I can't syncopate that one. And we'll just put the 2/2 back in their hands. There's an island. We'd like the islands, but we need more stuff to do. Okay, there's a land anyway. So we'll just play that and attack the opponent for 1 and say go. So we're doing alright. For a mono red deck, they look like pretty mid-range. Well, I don't think they are mono red, are they? No, they're not. They just got rid of a Gix there. So it's black. Okay. Okay, and they go to their end step and not do anything. Right. I'm going to just try and draw a card through Triskaidekaphile. Presumably they've got removal here. Yeah. Infernal Graph. Fair enough, it's not in their hand anymore. We got to draw an extra card, and this time we'll play Teferi. I'm just going to up it. I think if we just make a 2/2, it's just going to get removed. So we'll up it, and we'll see if they can deal with a 5 loyalty Teferi. They do have a Reflection of Kikijiki now. It's finally a target for our Witness Protections that are taking up half of our hand. So this is definitely not going to be a Triskaidekaphile win, so again, I'm not really that too fussed that it's in our graveyard right now. And it's a Harvester. Okay, so they have a nice little combo themselves on the battlefield. Going to be able to make copies of the Harvester to start killing any creatures we put down, but they sacrificed their blood token to draw a card. Okay. Fair enough. Well, we'll start off by Witness protecting the 2 creatures that the opponent has. Again, cards I absolutely highly doubt that they would have thought that they'd be seeing today. And now I think we can just make a 2/2, see if we can start doing some damage to our opponent. And why not play the Lawmaster? It enables us to start drawing extra cards. If they do have a removal in their hand, they can have to decide what they want to play it on. Always a quandary here whether you want to draw an extra card or not. Doing math in your head to try and work out if you can still cast your big spell and eke out some value. And they do draw an extra card. Okay. They play their 6th mana. Okay, there's a shoulder. So that takes up their entire turn. We have a Fading Hope or we have Witness Protection. It's a choice between the 2. I'm just going to Fading Hope here. I was going to Witness Protection it. But yeah, let's just put it back in their hand. It cost them their entire turn last time. And we can Syncopate it on the way back down. So we'll definitely draw extra cards through our Loremasters. And draw cards through Teferi. Yeah, we can just attack it. We're just really hoping for a flow of knowledge. Just going to hold the Loremaster back just to protect our Teferi. Our opponent blocks the 5/5. Okay, so hopefully they decide that they want to draw an extra card and then they want to just drop the shoulder. That would be the ideal turn for me. But they don't want to do it this time. Okay, here comes Obnixilis. Okay, probably not what I expected that turn. So we're definitely going to be negating this. I'm going to negate only one copy of it though. So let's resolve the first two triggers and let's negate the main spell. So they get the token. But the copy only has one loyalty. And that holds open some mana in case we need to counter something else from the opponent. Yeah, we'll just decline Obnixilis' trigger there. Pass our turn. We'll pass their turn. And it's another counter spell. Okay. Really want our card draw spell. We could really do some serious damage. Like if we had it now, we could attack our opponent for a considerable amount of damage if they were to take the damage from the token, and we could then draw some cards. But look at our Teferi, it's already on 9. So I'm just going to make another 2/2. Just try and make sure that we don't mess this up at all. And we will attack with our 2 creatures. I'm just going to go straight for the opponent. I'm not really that bothered about this Obnixilis. If they want to make a devil, they can make a devil. We can witness protection that if we wanted to, or whatever. But let's try and get some damage through. Okay, so it's a cut down on our Loremaster. Okay, that's fine by me. Still going to take 7 though. And yeah, we just passed the turn. And we're threatening lethal next turn with our creatures on our board. So if we just basically counter everything they do this turn, and it's a Fable, yeah, we'll counter that, and we have the rebuff. So they're going to need to make a devil here just to block with. Okay, well they've upped Obnixilis. Sure, we'll take the damage. And opponent scoops it up. Alright, on the play here. Hand looks really nice actually. I think if you could pick 7 cards, this would probably be it. So we get to play out our island and just hold open Fading Hope really. Okay, Phoenix Chick. Well, I'm going to want to play the Loremaster next turn. So I'm just going to Fading Hope this chick. More of a tempo play here. An island, we'll keep that. And yeah, we'll just play out our Loremaster. Opponent gets to draw a card if they want to. I really doubt it. So they're going to need a Lightning Strike here to kill our 2/3, but again, that's just going to eat up their whole turn. And then we get to drop this Celestus next turn and try and ramp into a Teferi maybe. Okay, opponent draws an extra card. Well, they're not going to be able to cast anything at all. Everything's going to cost 2 more, and they only have 2 mana. And they scoop it up when they realise their mistake. Fair enough. So thanks for watching. I can't wait to make some adjustments here to carry on playing on the ladder. Going forward, it may be necessary to remove the Triskaidekaphile to make it a little less janky, but I love exploring combos and seeing how new cards affect old combo cards, and I truly believe Triskaidekaphile has had a massive upgrade since the Brothers War release. Anyway, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll speak to you again very soon.